I swear to God, I will hold you in my arms.
Welcome back to OPL Super Week, guys, where we just saw the new Avant-Garde lineup take a pretty convincing win in the end against Trident 2-1. Hello, I'm Jake Spawn Tiberi. Joining me on the desk hill is Matthew Fish-Stewart, as well as Julian Pastry Time Carr, and we have a huge rematch of Direwolves versus Chiefs coming your way. Let's go through the lineups very, very quickly with you guys. On the blue side, it is going to be the Direwolves, Sharp, their top laner, Sybil, their jungler, Fantix, Mr. Perfection in the mid lane, Raze, their AD carry, and Kuden, their support. Direwolves, a team that have only dropped a game versus Legacy once this season and also beaten the Chiefs, and that will be their opponents tonight. Starting on the red side, it will be the Chiefs Esports Club. Swifts in the top lane, Spooks their jungler, Cheese in the mid lane, Radiant and Ejim are your all-star bottom lane. Guys, want to throw this one out very, very broad because it is the rematch. We've already seen it once. What are we looking for in this matchup? And who do you think is going to take it?
This is a tough one, honestly, and I think the Chiefs have learnt a lot after their loss against Direwolves last time. For me, I'm looking at Direwolves here because I think, weirdly enough, even though they won the last encounter, I think they're the team looking to really prove themselves and show that we can beat the Chiefs again. We are a top team. They lost to Legacy, I think, really stung them after a long 50-minute game and then basically a whitewashed 30-minute game after it. The Direwolves, they've already proven it once they can beat Chiefs, so taking a loss isn't too bad, but I want to see them really prove that they can do it here. And for me, it's going to have to start with game one because Direwolves are a hot-blooded team. They ride momentum very high. And if they can't get things going early, I think they're going to struggle because the Chiefs are so calm and calculated, especially now.
I'm going to be looking at the Chiefs because the last time Direwolves played against the Chiefs and were able to pick up that win and took the OPL Legend title, Chiefs immediately went for an emergency boot camp. So if they have to go for an emergency boot camp, that's something that they're preparing for this game against the Direwolves and hopefully to be able to see why they went for that boot camp.
And I want to explore kind of the road that Direwolves have taken since the victory because they look like they're on fire. They're the OPL legends. Legacy took it from them. Then they had a very disappointing series against Trident. But I actually feel like Game 3 would have done some positive things for the team because Rippy subbed in. They would have been all over the place. And then all of a sudden he runs around on Udi, kind of trolls the heck out of people. Fantix goes berserk. For a morale booster, having your owner come in, that's a pretty fun game of League of Legends.
Yeah, it was fun.
To be fair, Fantix is always going to go berserk in that mid lane. He's a phenomenal player, but I love to see Rippy on that Udi, and Atlas is saying he's got, what, 980 games on that champion?
That's on his main, by the way. That's 980 games on his main, so he has a lot more. However, guys, we want to hear from you at home as well. Jump on Twitter, use that hashtag IamOPL, and tell us who do you think will carry this game, Direwolves versus Chiefs, and why you think that is the case. We might respond, have a little bit of a chat during the game. Pastry Time's all over that stuff. He loves it. So you guys have said that, you know, where you think it's going to be. Like, is it the top lane? Is it the mid lane? Like, who is it for you, Pastry Time, right now that is the Direwolves star?
As always with the Direwolves, I mentioned Raze. I think he's definitely a player to watch, but it's always going to be Fantix to me to look to carry a game. The difference between his good games and his great games is phenomenally wide for me as far as his performance goes. He's very consistent in lane. I feel like his team fighting is good, but we haven't quite seen great to amazing it from it, even though I think he's got the potential to. Fantix is a player that's starting to, weirdly enough, finally show us really what he's made of, and he needs to prove himself here against a tough opponent. Spook said he thinks Cheese is one of the best laners. I'm not going to take anything away from Cheese because he is a strong player. Fantix going to have to show up and blow up.
And Fantix's game in Game 3 versus Trident was huge. It was the best game I've seen him play since I think it was against Legacy in the finals of Split 1 last year where he was on Hecarim. He was playing top lane at that stage, so definitely a player to watch. Fish, want to get your player as well just quickly.
I want to watch Ejim in this match. And simply because the last time they played against Direwolves, he had this huge rant about how he's going to destroy Kuden because all he does is play Soraka and go, woo! And that's it. So this time, I want to see if Ejim can use this bootcamp he went for, get a little bit more serious and actually take the Direwolves down and show them what he is made of instead.
Yeah, that's a really interesting call, actually. There was a little bit of a back and forth there. I think we even have some more in store for you, so stay tuned for that. But it has been a very, very fun rivalry towards it. What do we think about top laners? Because Sharp has been someone that we've talked about very extensively, does a lot for the team, but Swiper also seems to be coming into his own, especially with the return of the tanks.
Yeah, I mean, Sharp's actually a very improved player, and I think he's definitely evolved into a good top laner. I think he might even be edging towards great and maybe a top laner in the OPL. Swiper, though, he's always been reliable. He's incredibly good. He always plays the meta champions, whether it's tanks, whether it's carries. Swiper is just one of the best, if not the best top laner in the OPL currently. He might really run over Sharp if he's not careful.
I agree, and Pastry had the keyword there, reliable. He is reliable up in the top lane, and I think Sharp has to step up to try and take down Swiper.
I think in general the Chiefs are reliable. That's what makes it so tricky for the Dials. They're very consistent. They almost always play the same way. They're, are very calm, very calculated. They approach the game in a super methodical way. And that's why I like this matchup, because the Dials are the opposite. They're hot-blooded. They're really furious. They live up to their name, to be honest. They're like wild animals when they're winning. They just play so well from ahead. And I think the key thing for me, the Dials play very well when up against adversity. Yes, it's a lot to take on the Chiefs again and try and win, especially make it look convincing. But if any team's going to do it, the Dials, they love playing from behind. They love being the Underwolf. They're going to have to try and prove it.
Yeah, and that's something that they've actually spoken extensively about. They don't really go into any games as a favorite. They feel like they've always been the second or third place team, and that actually fires them up. However, guys, we mentioned that we heard from Ejim. He actually called Kuden a one-trick of Soraka. Well, we thought it was only fair to give Kuden a chance to respond, so here's his piece.
I feel very honoured that Ejim respects my Soraka, and I can play every champion at the highest level, not just Soraka, but I am the best Soraka in Oceania, no doubt about that. I wish to replace Ejim as the support everyone looks up to.
My opinion has changed on Kuden. Yeah, I think I was, my first interview I was like, oh yeah, Kuden bloody one-trick Soraka. I don't know whether it was just like a matter of, it was like pre-season, and I guess I hadn't seen him play too much, and I was like, who is this guy? I don't think he's very good. I think he's definitely improved quite a bit. So I don't know whether it was just a case of I didn't recognize his actual skill in the beginning, or whether there has been a marked improvement between then and now. I think he's quite good.
Well, welcome to the Caster Desk, and thank you very much, Ejim, for taking back your statements, because Kuden has been playing well, even when he's not on the Rift. They're getting victories.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a sign of a modest player as well to recognize when you've made a mistake and back up effectively on that. So, yes.
Yeah, kudos to Ejim.
Yeah, giving respect where it's due to Kuden as a strong support right now for Direwolves. And Kuden, of course, he has every right to toot his own horn to some extent. What he did say is he was the best Soraka in Oceania, no doubt. I don't really think anyone's contesting that. No one plays Soraka, so
no.
Power to you, Kuden.
That being said, Cogmore now, fairly up there in the meta, does sort of work as that, the bottom. I was going to say
my point stands. Power to you, Kuden.
Yep.
Disregard him.
Let's just leave that one. So, Kuden, kudos. But we are into champions like, thank goodness, is going to save us from talking about banana spits and stuff like that in the bottom lane.
That's my favorite nickname for a champion duo, Soraka and Kog'Maw, the banana spit.
Yeah, I tried too hard to get it in there that I just didn't want to take it. As
no,
Nidalee is going to be the first ban here, as Direwolves are going to take that one away first. Spook's playing a fantastic Nidalee over the last couple of weeks. His Gangplank is going to be the response against Fantix, who had the most ridiculous Gangplank performance I have ever seen. Was farming more minions than were on the map, I swear to God. Just ludicrous stuff. And Nautilus and Kog'Maw are going to be the follow-up bans. So many targeted bans on the blue side here for Direwolves, and we'll see whether that is going to be important, especially if we move into game number 2 as well, which might be getting a little bit too far ahead of myself.
Yeah, just a little bit, of course. The Nautilus is a specifically targeted ban to Swiper, who really demonstrated his skill on that champion. Solo killed his opposition as Nautilus, believe it or not. It's one of the weirdest things to say. And yeah, he's surprisingly a very strong damage-dealing Nautilus top laner who loves the ZZ Rot build, loves the Banner of Command build. So don't be surprised if he goes to something like the Galio that he's got up his sleeve. I just know that Coach Jish isn't letting him.
The up your sleeve Galio. When has that ever happened? I don't know.
I'm ready for the Galio.
So am I. Super ready. As Elise is going to be the final ban here for the Chiefs, away from Sybil, which is an interesting one. Sharp now with the first pick, and we'll see exactly what he's going to take away. Kalista not going to be left up. Ray's going to snap that one. As Radiant not going to have what is arguably his most powerful champion there on the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, but Gragas is still available also.
Yep, a few power picks. Poppy does come to mind as well.
Gragas Alistar is your first rotation. Ejim's a great Alistar. They have to choose, I guess, between Braum also. There's lots of options available to the Chiefs.
And with Alistar and Braum both up at the same time, do you sort of not worry about prioritizing that, or is there sort of one clear one you
pick the one that is better against Kalista and not with the Kalista? So Direwolves, they've already shown their AD carry. Perhaps you want to pick the Braum in particular so that they don't get the combo with the stun, put more Ren stacks in, or you take the Alistar to deny hard engage. Depends on what you want your composition to be.
Well, they have been listening to you, Rusty, as it is going to be the Gragas and the Alistar locked in here for the Chiefs. So versatile, definitely powerful at the moment. And I love seeing Spooks back on the Gragas as well, because it has been a while.
Yeah.
The Dials to make their decisions, and we'll see what they do pair with this Kalista. Often it is going to be the support and the jungle locked in now, just so that they can hide their solo laners for a little while. I can imagine Fantic's not too worried, and this is another example of, Fantic's going relatively unbanned. It is the Gangplank, but that is relatively standard anyway, so you can go to the Twisted Fate, the Kassadin, the Yasuo, all of these power picks that Fantix does have in his back pocket. Corki there as well has been something that he's made massive waves on. So it just shows that the Chiefs not really that scared of Fantix there in the mid lane and will have his pick of the litter.
You would wager Braum would be picked, and Sybil's also got a lot of versatility in his champion pool. We have seen his Udyr.
We have. We might see it again, as it's going to be locked in. And by might, yeah, of course, mean what
that's
the
a statement
hell?
and a half.
Yeah, it is. So we're about to see the best Soraka in Oceania.
Well, self-proclaimed. We are about to put that to the test.
Look, I trust him.
And the reason that it is, if you saw the original interview with Ejim, is it absolutely tilts him off the face of the earth because he sits so far back in lane that he's not within range of you to hit. And if he is in range of you to hit, he's got a Kalista this time around. And yes, he does sit there and just go, woo, and heal his AD carry.
That's something that's actually excellent about the Kalista-Soraka combo, though, is that it offers a lot of safety to Soraka, who's a very low mobility support, at least once Kalista is post-level 6, because obviously she can Fates call the Soraka back to safety. Typically, we don't see a lot of Soraka in competitive play. It's been played a few times in North America, just because she's so easy to gank. And against Ejim's Alistar, as well as Spooks' Gragas, that's expect targets on that bot lane. But as long as they can get raised to level 6 and have that Fates call, should be okay.
Well, Cheese is going to lock in Anivia as they save the top lane pick till last, and Rady are going to go back to his comfortable Jinx. That is going to be their answer here at the moment for the Direwolves.
Well, Static Shiv got a buff and a few changes on 6.3, and I think that item works wonderfully with Jinx just because she can proc it twice as fast as pretty much any other AD carry with her get excited.
He's very much a Hurricane player as well, Raider.
Oh, okay.
I think the only reason he plays Jinx is, like, he's an amazing Jinx player, right? But he just loves Hurricane because you just clear the back waves and push down turrets, and this plays to the Chiefs style as well.
Yeah, well, they got wave clear for days and just 2 champions as well. They picked up Anivia Jinx, and then all of a sudden any wave clear problems that they ever had is gone entirely. As now Fantix does have the opportunity to pick up his Twisted Fate, and paired with a Malphite as well. I mean, massive amounts of engage. Their pick potential's right there as well.
It's excellent too then by having the Malphite, because that means that your primary engage doesn't have to be the Fates call, which means that it's used exclusively for the safety of the support and adding utility there.
Scary lineup here from the Direwolves so far, as Chiefs now with their final pickup.
It just feels scattered to me. Like, it's a strong lineup. I look at a Twisted Fate and any side lane feels in trouble. I look at a Kalista with a Soraka and it's like, yeah, you can't kill them. But a Twisted Fate ults bottom. They've got like a Silence field, I guess, and like Soraka can knock them up. But it's still an Alistar, so if they match on equal footing, I feel like that doesn't go well. Top lane, it's a Malphite. Swiper's got the counter pick though, and could pick anything he wants into this, whether it is a Fiora as an example. Swiper loves that champion, does well into Malphite, denies Twisted Fate's stun as well, and potentially the Malphite unstoppable force. I just feel like there's a lot of pressure now on Direwolves' individual laners to be doing well, let alone their ganks from Sybil to be impacting the map, or Chiefs could just run away with it from team comp alone.
But isn't that exactly what we want from the Direwolves? Their individual laners to succeed.
Well, that's exactly how they play as well, and I was going to talk about the Soraka Kalista lane a little bit earlier on, but not going to now, as Swiper is going to lock away the Olaf to take into the Malphite, and it may feel like, Malphite will be okay, slows attack speed and all that sort of stuff, but you can't slow axes to the face over and over again.
I think it's mostly the true damage, though.
Yeah, that helps, but axes to the face, Frosker, and axes to the face. Not good, especially not early. I mean, we've seen what Swiper is capable of on that Olaf as well. And I mean, speaking of wave clear, still even more now with the axes of the Olaf. I feel like they're just going to have all of these waves pushed up. We'll see what the Direwolves can do to it.
I think that, so the first time we saw Swiper play Olaf was into Rise. It was the counter pick to the Rise, which is a very squishy laner that you can just hit 6.
Importantly with a Shen.
Yeah, so you just hit 6, you just press, like hit one of your axes and just run him down. Bit harder to do against the Malphite, but Malphites generally stack health first, and I would recommend not going the true damage build. It's pretty cheesy, and you lose health yourself, so trades can start to backfire. You just hit one axe, follow it up, just consistently poke him down, and then get a Gragas gank.
Yeah, well, we'll see what they are going to be able to do, of course. In the past, Spooks has been a fantastic Gragas player, but it has been a while since we saw him play it. Did have his Nidalee banned away, but this is the other big pick on this patch. I am very, very sort of excited to see how he does play. But we have heard from the Chiefs after their boot camp, after their loss against Direwolves, and we've got a video to show you now.
In the Direwolves OPL series, like, a lot of our problems kind of like reared their head.
So I guess it was the realization that like our current state at the time was pretty bad. Like we had pretty much an emergency boot camp because we were worried that we had no direction, and we really didn't. We literally, in that series, we had like our carries A-ramming mid, and we had absolutely no direction at all.
As a team, we're like, I guess historically pretty slow to like pick up on the meta, but once we get a good grasp of it, we kind of like, well, I guess historically you could say like we get a grasp of the meta and then we like dominate with it, sort of thing.
Just B game, Sybil gonna catch in onto Egypt.
Yeah, this is
They
game.
will end this game.
We call the Direwolves passive, but not with their new AD carry. This is a revitalized Direwolves, and they beat the Chiefs.
And that kind of comes back to the whole losing Swiffer thing, like no Swiffer, no clue kind of. I think a lot of us in the team think that when Swiffer comes back, he's just gonna be garbage. You can't just not play League for like such a long time and then just come back and expect to be really good. I guess we're expecting Swiffer to come back and, you know, practice really hard and then eventually slot back in the team because he fits really well in with the team. He makes the critical calls. But if he's unable to make the transition into the meta, then obviously we're just gonna have to stick with Cheese.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Really great to hear from Spooks and Egypt.
All right, mate.
Calm down.
Can I have a minute?
It's okay.
You don't have a minute. We're on the Rift, Atlas.
Oh, we are indeed. So, of course, welcome to Summoner's Rift, ladies and gentlemen, for Direwolves versus Chiefs, the rematch.
Rematch.
So, yeah, so spawned, so subtly put. As Spooks and Sybil are going to be dancing at one another. We shall see how this match goes so far.
Here we go. Listen to Sybil.
Defense.
Ready? The most annoying sound in the game.
Yeah, Sybil wins,
That's
I
not
think.
Quinn.
That is the most annoying sound in the game by a large
He's
margin.
doing a Quinn impression. That is basically her ultimate. Nailed it. Of course, Udyr pretty fast as well. Kind of looks like he's got a Quinn ultimate half the time. Whereas Cheese is just Quinn without the Quinn.
I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm a big LPL fan.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
What's an LPL?
And it's funny, I've known a few of the chief analysts over the years, and every single time I managed to watch the OPL, the Chiefs' compositions always remind me of EDG. They happen to be a Chinese team. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Oh, okay, cool.
But they used to play...
What does EDG stand for?
They used to play this brilliant style where they have a lot of control on the front line, and then they would have a hyper-aggressive AD carry, primarily Jinx majority of the time. So I always love a Nivea and Jinx in tandem together just because you have so much control in front of you with the ultimate that allows Jinx to just kind of weave along the side. So I'm very interested to see if Cheese and Radier can pull off that beautiful dance.
Well, we'll see whether they can. They'll need to dance pretty effectively as well because Raze and Kuden... This is an aggressive lane, and Raze now being able to just play hyper-aggressively. It's going to be very frustrating. That being said, they've lane swapped.
To hide the Soraka as well as put the Olaf down. That said, Jinx takes towers very quickly.
Gatling gun pretty good.
I have to choose between the level 6 for Soraka and is it worth it? Or Callista, rather.
Get in there.
Do it, E-Jim.
Punch him in the face.
That's delicious popcorn chicken, man. You want to eat that.
Didn't get it.
Didn't get any. Frustrating. But is at least able to know exactly where they are. As the Dials move towards the top side of the map, but not devastating, and Sybil was able to get his red buff very early on at the same time.
Yeah, so Direwolves, they're very much content with this lane swap, as thankfully Ejim didn't get all of their stuff. And this is the biggest thing to me is...
Oh, nice stun there from Cheese.
As he takes damage. Yeah, the biggest thing to me in this lane swap is Fantix and how he can impact the map. So being a Twisted Fate and acknowledging that everybody trades turrets is actually a very big deal because your ganks are that much more potent with your ultimate because it's a long lane. If you catch them in a lane that the tower's already broken in, so easy to pick a kill.
We'll see whether he can do that, as now just pressuring Cheese a lot in the mid lane.
They're not getting this.
It's also a big issue that the Twisted Fate is in an isolated mid matchup, especially with someone like Fantix, who's such a high caliber level of player. Cheese has a lot of kill pressure as Anivia. She has very high base for her abilities. Likewise, obviously, that massive AoE stun. So I definitely think that the isolated mid lane certainly helps bypass Fantix.
Oh, Swiper, he was watching NALCS and now he's like, oh no, I don't want to go that far.
No, so he just recognized that he doesn't want to lose health, which is a very important value to maintain. And the Direwolves were also a wave behind with their pushing. So capable of sitting back, you know, denying another wave, and should be able to get it with these three. Otherwise, yeah, easy. Now let's try and freeze it.
Oh, these minions going to die pretty quickly. There's now Cheese just cancelling auto attacks adorably.
Doing the wave.
Yeah, I like it. Fantix doing absolutely fine here in this matchup. 7 CS in the lead, but I have a feeling that Cheese is going to have a much better time once he does get that ultimate at level 6. A bit awkward farming in the old Anivia very early on.
It's an acquired taste.
Yeah. The auto attack made a lot easier with that particular skin.
As you can see.
Oh, misses double cannon creeps, man. That is... Oof, I'd be donezo.
You don't come back from that.
No, you don't. Well, Spooks is trying to save the lane now as Cheese closing the distance. There's the teleport in. Massive damage onto Fantix, though, as Spooks just does a drive-by. It has been cancelled.
The issue, however, is that Spooks decided to gank right after Cheese had used his Q cooldown. And it's a fairly long cooldown at this point. I believe it's about 10 or 11 seconds.
His Q and his E, yeah.
Yeah, so it was just really a poor miscommunication.
Oh my god.
So this is one of the more frustrating things of Soraka in a lane swap as well, as Spooks is actually just saying, hey,
another drive by.
You know, what's up? But,
hey girl.
Oh my god, Sybil has been here for so long.
Get him.
Oh, there he is, as Raze is going to get headbutted. Ejim looking for a pulverize. There's another teleport to come through. This one's from Fantix, actually, in the mid lane, as now the long lane, like you said, Rusty. Sybil flashes forward. They'll get the bear stance. Radier in so much trouble. First blood goes to Sybil, and the Direwolves are already on the board.
And the patience pays off for Sybil. He was there for quite some time, but it works out in the end, even acknowledging that Kuden wasn't there. He was mid, so it's assumed that the Chiefs will put down pressure once they place their vision. Ejim goes, places the vision down, and sooner or later he comes back, and that is when they strike.
Well, Spooks stealing away some Krogs here, just grabbing himself a consolation prize where he can. Lots of deep vision available as well from the Chiefs. We'll see exactly what they are going to be able to recover here as Spooks does get slowed down. Sybil right here, but we'll be fine. Spooks just keeping tabs on exactly where everyone is on the side of the dials. And this double jungle has been going for quite some time, as Sharp does not want to go anywhere near Swiper. I don't blame him.
No, it's a level 5 Olaf with an absolute advantage. If you want to look at the Chiefs lineup right now, that's where his point of power is. Like, sure, the top lane, the AD carry support duo, they've opted into their lane. They want a 2v2, but that's not for their own good at the moment. That's entirely so that Swiper can freeze this lane for as long as humanly possible until Sybil comes to break it or Fantix comes to break it. And it might, by then it might be too late, honestly.
Oh, that's a good point. Ejim actually just aggressively moving this lane forward, trying to make sure that they can't freeze it. Radier, the added benefit of AoE damage means that at least Cuden's going to take some damage when he stands next to Raze, instead of just being able to heal up everything that is done. But playing back, it's going to be really hard to lock down this top lane, slash bottom lane, slash whatever we want to call it.
The Australian bottom lane.
Yeah, it makes me, I just don't really understand.
Olaf.
That's how they do it?
The Olaf lane, I think.
Olaf just runs at them and then kills Kalista.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, this lane is just completely done. And like we've seen that already indicated by the not wanting to lane against him, I guess, from Sharp on this Malphite.
Wow, really clean combo there from Fizz.
The other big issue is that even if they did swap the Soraka into the Kalista to assist at the Malphite, Olaf will still have kill pressure.
Olaf will kill Soraka.
Yep, he'll just run at her.
And Swiper has been playing so incredibly well for the Chiefs as well just recently that I have no doubt that is exactly what he wants. Even on Nautilus, he's like, I am an unkillable beast and I will kill everyone. That is just how he works. As Cheese clears out this mid lane quite nicely, he's now ahead in farm, which is a very big deal. Wants to go back and grab his Rod of Ages pretty shortly, but you can see Fantix already with that 1 assist. Already has the makings of his Rod of Ages as well, only 950 gold to go.
This is actually something that I've noticed about Spooks, simply because the Chiefs have been so powerful for so long, and they have such incredible individual solo laners. Even the difference between Swiffer and Cheese is that Spooks, I actually consider him quite a lazy jungle. He has opportunities where he can look for an invade, but he'll choose not to, and he'll just kind of farm his own jungle or kind of play it a little bit more passive, knowing that he doesn't need to apply pressure, he doesn't need to be the primary enabler for his team. He can be, and he's a fantastic jungler, but it's just this idea that my lanes are going to win anyway.
See whether he's actually going to invade and get a little bit more work done this game around. You can see the bottom lane probably somewhere he doesn't need to impact, although he could probably put the knife in a little further. As the wall goes down, Cheese able to find himself a stun. Fantix can't get the gold card back.
And the trick to that, of course, is that long-time Anivia players know that depending on how you play your wall, the enemy champion will automatically path a certain direction, which means that you can set up the queue, which is what we exactly saw Cheese do there.
Yep, buffered him to run upwards.
Yep.
By placing the wall as you throw the Q at the same time. Also doubles up the animation, so it's very smooth.
I like it. Spook's now looking to go aggressive here in the mid lane, but Fantix having none of it, and Sybil paying some attention towards the other side of the rift. 40 CS to 35 as Sybil on this Udyr has pulled ahead, going towards that Runic Echoes build as well, we have been seeing. There's a lot of vision on the bottom side of the map. Exactly right, Frosker and Swiper pretty happy.
This is good though. Direwolves, they're not going to walk through the vision, clear the vision, they just avoid it entirely. They're going to take what is free to them on the top side of the map. His radar was also freezing, busy for quite some time. And I would imagine, given the knowledge that Raze and Kuden have returned bottom, they will send Swiper back to his standard lane and zone sharp some more.
The fact that they achieved all of that vision without utilizing a Sightstone, if you look at Ejim's items, he went the Mata route, and he upgraded his mobility boots before buying a Sightstone.
I believe they have been recently upgraded as well, so a little bit better.
They've been changed, yes. So that's literally all trinket vision, or it was. Obviously, it has now faded, but really coordinating as a team to light that entire area up to keep their top laner safe.
Yeah. Swiper being given a lot of attention. Still approximately double the CS of Sharp. Because he has a fair bit of extra gold as well. That's a 600 gold lead, which is not too bad for the top laner. Yeah,
it's a Rod of Ages as well for Cheese. He just hasn't opted into recalling it. He's got 1800, so
probably going to clear this wave.
Yeah, this wave then piecing out.
Yep.
He'll do Raptors because he's an Anivia.
And also a mid laner that likes to look like he's pretty cool with lots of numbers. Yep.
Now he's fighting with Spooks, where it's just so standard, isn't it? Just recall, man. Clear the wave. Get your Rod of Ages.
Yeah, stop being silly, Cheese.
Having a laugh.
Well, Swiper going to throw axes at Sharp. And there's the true damage as well. Sharp does have to be a little bit careful. He's only got...
He's got to be super careful. He's got Spooks behind him.
Yeah. He's just walking away. Doesn't want no troubles in his life.
Yeah, he's pulling a Craig David.
Jesus, we were too close on the same page right there. Spooks on a ward, and Swiper just putting the pressure down towards the top side of the map, and Sharp not going to be able to go anywhere near this turret. No attention is actually being delivered here on the side of the Direwolves. Sybil is on the bottom side jungle. He's going to look for something onto Radio and Ejim as he jumps all the way forward. Fantix getting a headbutted underneath the turret straight away from Ejim. Really nice play as the teleport gets cancelled from Swiper. We'll see whether he's... Oh, actually, no, it was Cheese who blew his, as Swiper still has his one in the top side of the map. They are going to be able to grab the top outer turret. Nicely played by the Chiefs, especially Ejim. Man,
yeah,
what a headbutt.
Ejim's headbutt was phenomenal, but he also had to pulverize Sybil so that Jinx would live, and it made you question why he was pulverizing the Udyr when he's just knocked TF under the turret. Well, he's still got the summoner spells out of Fantix. No flash now available for the Twisted Fate. Even though he had to use his own, and yeah, look at the amount of damage that Radiant copped. Sybil, if he actually got on top of the Jinx, would have probably killed him.
Yeah, really nicely done.
That was through a heal.
Goodbye, Twisted Fate.
One thing we do have to say, though, is the fact that Direwolf's bottom lane, 20 CS ahead now. As far as this lane swap is concerned, very successful, and they grab themselves the first dragon of the game. Direwolf's ahead by about 1,000 gold. Boop. Yep, but in goes Spooks, delivers a kill to Cheese. Cheese says, thank you very much, I'm a bird, let's take this turret.
Yeah, it's about what Cheese said. Of course, gets the kill completely delivered to him. And that's the power of Gragas.
That's the power of a perfectly executed gank as well. I mean, that's how you do a flash body slam. Spooks, thank you very much.
Gragas is the answer to the OPL ARAM. He breaks it instantly.
Well, so is Malphite for all intents and purposes, but both teams have their respective counter. So neither team should be ARAMing.
Raze stick and sticks in minions now in the mid lane, just making up for the lack of Twisted Fate. But now with a death under his belt. Does have the Rod of Ages, does also have an Aether Wisp as he's building towards that Lichbane for his next item. Also likes to have a bunch of extra movement speed if he can.
Finally, though, Sharp has gotten the freeze on his side.
The sad part is it'll never freeze
because he's got the bomb sender.
Exactly.
Rip.
Well, he's got creeps. He's only like 50 down.
That's true. You can now push that wave. Of course, it has freed up the Olaf, who's now just hanging out in his own jungle. We'll see where he's going to go.
I mean, he's so safe on an extended lane simply because his ultimate will allow him to walk out of any sort of Destiny gank. Yep. So I feel at this point, Swiper should just shove it in.
Absolutely. I think I'm most saddened by the fact that he's not building a Zero portal champion.
What? Why? You only get frustrated.
It's just disappointing because, you know, Swiper's the guy who hyped it up. He was the first player in the OPL to do it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He's also, again, the
Oh,
get in there.
There's a headbutt pole, but EGM not going to find the flash.
Good flash.
Yeah, very nice from Kuden. Make sure that he survives. Fantix locks down his own blue buff. Civil delivering that one over. His Runic Echoes is completed. Now building just tanky items. See what this Udyr is going to be capable of as we move on in this game. So far, managed to lock down first blood for Direwolves. And now running at Radius.
Oh, the never-ending journey.
Over the top. Oh my goodness, just runs right over the Chompers once again. Destiny's here, Radiant moving out of the way as he gets the zap. Nice explosive cast because Fantix just getting delivered, but massive ultimate comes out. Raze now in amongst it as Fantix is going to fall down. Super Mega Death Rocket being so important. Sybil just gets collapsed on, and the Chiefs so coordinated. Fate's Call is going to get him Kuden out, and Raze is going to deliver him to safety, but it's a 2-0 in favor of the Chiefs.
That worked out surprisingly well for the Direwolves, given how badly that started out. The Chiefs just kind of run over the top of them, though. The Olaf gets in with the teleport, and the fact that Sybil flashed to get onto the Jinx actually backfired and bit him in the bum.
And it was beautifully prepared by the Chiefs. This idea that they understood that they couldn't break the freeze that Kalista had put into the mid lane. And so look at that river. A couple of the wards have died now, but it's mostly dominated by Chiefs vision, particularly in the pinks. And they were just kind of hanging out in that river, bouncing back and forth, kind of waiting for Direwolves to leave one of their tower lanes. And then that's when they struck, when they tried to take down Radiant in the top lane.
Yeah, it was sort of Direwolves making a move and the Chiefs just understanding that that was going to be what they were going to do.
And it's just so important to understand if we want to avoid these ARAM stages where everything just kind of gets drawn out, to effectively move your objectives out of just the towers and play around vision, play around picks, play around overextension or creep waves, not just to play on the tower themselves.
Yeah, well, they just played on the magnet that is Radiant. Has always been a thing here in the Oceanic region that players just want to kill Radiant.
Well, I think it was also because he was on the long lane, extended, trying to get creeps.
I just thought it was a good time to...
It was a good decision, but historically Radiant has also been...
Yeah.
So he was super aggressive. He was the cocky, you know, I'm the best AD carry.
Oh, he's the Name of
OPL.
OPL.
And
he also was the best AD carry, which is a bit frustrating.
But they beat it out of him.
Yeah.
Like everyone camped him to the point where he just didn't know what offensive meant until he laned with Egypt again. Where the power of aggression was brought back into him.
Thank goodness, too.
Absolutely.
Really good scene flashing forward as Sybil tried to take the Gromp, but I believe Spooks was able to lock that one down. And he's managed to catch back up as far as that farm is concerned. Ahead by a few items here, as he does have those extra assists. Nicely played so far by Spooks. And the Chiefs claiming the gold lead. for themselves. 1,600 gold. It's going to be them as Ejim actually has to use the ultimate. Sybil's going to find the cow as he headbutts him back. Yep, those little shields rotating around him are going to keep him safe.
And this is actually a historically similar thing that the Chiefs always do, get caught out with deep vision. Ejim, whenever they lose games, even internationally, is getting caught placing deep vision. If it's a lack of respect or they're just being careless with the way that they're doing it, it comes back to haunt them.
Oh, man.
Sybil forcing the ult.
And Kuden, I mean, we were talking about the Eye of the Watcher before. We've now got an Eye of the Oasis. How exciting. Extra wards all over the place. I recently learnt what all their names were, so I'm really proud. Swiper is going to get caught towards the top side of the map, though. May actually have to use the Ragnarok. Actually doesn't use it in time to avoid the knock-up. Because then finally does use it. Does have his flash. But just going to wander away. He's going to be fine.
And again, just the power of these upgraded Sightstone is your ability to trade that extra ward for either a pink ward or a sweeper. It's probably super beneficial against a team like the Chiefs or even on the Chiefs, simply because they seem to be very oriented around their vision control.
Yeah, so it could be an Eye of the Equinox here for Ejim. We can get the full set.
Look at those pink wards.
Yep. That is 1 each. Spooks, you dropped the ball, mate.
Yeah.
Why do you have a little clothy armor there?
Because he's probably got a pink ward on the map.
Also, if you think about it, it's great value for money if you're putting a whole cloth armor over a Gragas. The guy's pretty large. Get a lot of cloth.
Chain vest is probably the best one for Gragas as well.
Yeah, true. It's a lot of chain.
There's a giant spot probably.
Yeah. I'm going to be able to answer the first dragon that Direwolves were able to pick up, though. Chiefs easily able to grab one for themselves as they're now collapsing here on the mid lane. Swiper
they got him.
has found the axe, and he just uses the ultimate. Fantix is so dead. The rockets come out. Super Mega Death Rocket's going to secure it for Radier, despite the fact that he would have died from the Ignite anyway. And the Direwolves now have to retreat. The massive mid laner for the team now dead, and so much wave clear from the Chiefs. They don't have a creep wave.
They're going to go bottom.
Yeah, they're just looking to try and find some objective. And this is what they've done in this series, as opposed to their last one against the Direwolves. Take everything after getting a good pick, and doing it once more here on the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, they absolutely are. The Chiefs, they work around a pick. They move bottom where they had a wave set up for them.
Oh,
they're not done.
They're back in. There's the explosive cast down as Raze is going to be the target. Massive damage as Soraka's already dead. Cheese just flashed on him. Double kill now for the bird as this Anivia is going off. Are we watching Swiffer right now? As he was certainly one that played it for. Oh my goodness, Fantix now comes back and he's already dead. Radier grabs another one on a killing spree now as Sharp has to flash away. They weren't expecting to have their base broken at 20 minutes on the dot after everything was so close, and now it's been blown wide open.
We're not watching Swiffer. We are watching Cheese, who is staking his claim at #1 mid laner in the OPL right now.
Damn right.
Spook said it. Cheese is backing it up, and in that first fight, he instantly blew up Kuden. And that is essentially what wins it for them. And this is why people don't pick Soraka in competitive play, because even control mages can flash and kill you.
Yep, no Swiffer, no worries, says the Chiefs. They are able to grab the Athene's Unholy Grail on Cheese as well. Does have a needlessly large rod and some extra movement speed in that Alacrity enchantment.
They also
those Lucidity boots
have so much Baron control now, not only because they've broken the Baron inhibitor, as Rusty likes to call it, on the bottom side of the map. You're pointing at the Zerat portal on Spooks there and Gragas, but also Anivia is actually fairly decent at taking down those monster objectives.
Yeah.
Would you like me to elaborate, Atlas?
Yeah, please.
They got it on their jungler because their top laner can't get it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the Chiefs actually value the Rock Portal quite highly. It gives them extra split pushing. It denies Fantix as well. Sharp's not very good at pushing himself. So it just gives them extra options, especially now that bottom is broken. They can place it top, push mid, Baron.
Well, I like it. Spook's now moving up through the jungle.
Or place it bottom so it stays pushed, I guess.
Cool. Sybil actually caught in the wall. Very confusing. For the Udyr. Glacial Storm goes down from Cheese just to block off that entrance. The Chiefs just have to wait out this Rift Scuttler. As Destiny's going to be
Oh, wow,
used,
top.
in it is on top of Radiant now as well. As Sybil is going to flash on top. Ejim wants to find something as he just smacks away Fantix. Radiant just uses the flash. He's going to be safe as he turns back around. Some rockets now as he picks up the kill. Massive ultimate from Sharp, but I'm not sure whether that's going to be enough as Cheese gets taken down to his egg for the first time this game. Now Ejim with a lot of sticks in him does have to be careful. Nice double axe there from
Axes are
Swiper
connecting.
though. Yeah, right on top of Kuden, and Swiper doesn't want to go too far forward, but they just couldn't lock down the kill onto Radia.
Meanwhile, check out what's happening in their base right now.
Oh, Raze. Oh, nice use of that Marshall post to get
Rocket.
himself over. But Rocket not going to be enough.
This is just constant pressure, though, because as Frostgrin mentioned, look at bottom. They have to defend their Nexus turrets, so they do give this one up.
That's going to be Baron.
Yeah, Jinx
Look at
gets
it.
excited.
That minion is a hero. Oh, it is.
Oh, nailed it.
Target selection minions. You calm down.
But look at the Chiefs' vision. Like, look at that map right now.
Yeah. They've got the line. This is the Chiefs' line of vision. This is what they're always known for, is just suffocating you out of your own jungle. Chompers go down.
teleport.
Sharp wants to try and find his way in. His Ejim's going to flash
Oh,
forward
no.
the wall. Gets Sharp out of there. Lots of damage from the minigun as Cheese is the one that ends up locking it down. And the Chiefs grab Baron, grab a pick, and go home. I'll just count their money as they decide where to go next.
Absolutely. They can count their fat stacks of cash and go back. Look to potentially just end the game through the next push that they make. Bot lane is always going to be an issue for Direwolves. And Fantix tries he might to clear this wave and get it pushed out before the Chiefs make it. They're already here. Fantix needs to show some respect.
It certainly does. No flash available for the Twisted Fate. And 9-1 in kills for the Chiefs versus Direwolves. Of course, it was a very similar game. Game number 1 against the Direwolves first time around here from the Chiefs. They do need to back it up again in game number 2. As Sybil now just getting pressured away from his red buff. We've spoken about this many, many times. The fact that the Direwolves are a team that love the comeback.
Even if the bottom inhibitor spawns soon, the rot portal has been continuously placed bottom. So the pressure will always remain. And the Chiefs, with this Baron buff, it's just going to be so simple for them to execute now.
Systematic destruction.
We're looking at Sharp with the Malphite.
I remember being impressed by the Chiefs' macro play during IWC.
Yeah.
It's nice to see it remain so strong even without their previous mid laner.
Spooks able to share the love around as Sharp gets caught out
Oh
of position.
my God,
Cheese!
what?
He has to go in as Cheese is able to lock that one down. This Anivia is gone completely insane. 10,000 gold, approximately the lead now for the Chiefs as they take the first inhibitor turret. Make that the second, actually, as Swipe is able to take down the inhibitor on the top side. And the rest of the team takes down the mid lane. This is just so controlled.
Yeah.
And so dominant out of the Chiefs as Kuden takes a whole chunk of his health. And Swiper just being a monster Viking in the front line. Cheese does have to be a bit careful as he may actually fall down. No, he's just going to walk away. Nexus falls down and the Chiefs go up 1-0. Really, that looked like they were trying to get revenge against the Direwolves in that game. Systematic destruction.
It was clean, is the best way to describe that game. Cheese from start to finish looked like, besides one hiccup, that they were in absolute control. And there wasn't really a moment where I looked at the Direwolves team and said, they can win this game.
No, and it was sort of slow at the beginning. We've seen this out of the Chiefs before. Then they just turned it all around, grabbed so many turrets, and it was about all she wrote. But we are going to hear more about that game as we throw it over to the analyst desk.
Thank you so much, Atlas. And it was only 26 minutes ago that we'll hear, because that was a very quick victory out of the Chiefs against Direwolves. And, you know, let's go back to the start of the game, because there was one game plan, Pastry Time.
It was
simple.
It was very simple. Kill the radio. Phase 1 went okay. They managed to get the first blood. They locked down the kill. Phase 2, unfortunately, maybe left wanting there, because the rest of the plan just didn't seem like the Chiefs wanted it to happen, and they pretty quickly dismantled that one.
Couldn't kill the radio enough. It just wasn't enough for them to secure that victory.
Well, it was 100% of their kills, actually. The radio kill was everything they got that game, but let's actually have a look at what it cost them. So much farm in the mid lane because Gragas was hanging around there. All of the early game, Kuden was actually helping it out. So much farm in the bottom lane because Gragas also went down into the bottom lane to help the Olaf out. And that just meant that even though they killed Radier, they didn't really deny him any farm because it was a long lane of the map regardless, didn't die to turrets. And the mid laner and top laner of the Chiefs just became monsters.
They sure did, and they spent so much effort trying to kill the Radiant, and when it doesn't pay off, everyone else on the map for the Chiefs just becomes absolutely monstrous.
Yeah, I guess the thing there is that there weren't really winning lanes on top of that. Like, if your plan is to camp on lane, you usually want one of your other lanes to win, and unfortunately, Twisted Fate, a fine laner, but neutralizes almost every lane he plays in by style, and Malphite, especially with Swiper having the counter pick, that was very, I'm going to say gutsy to give Fnatic a counter pick, but really smart there from the Chiefs.
And I want to actually talk about Swiper. We have a tweet from the man, and he actually said that pretty much really proud of how they've developed in the last few weeks, and he credits a lot of that to their loss against the Direwolves, but he ain't going to be losing tonight, #IamOPL. And I just feel that picking a Malphite blind into Swiper, who has shown for probably 3 seasons, if not 4 seasons of League of Legends in Oceania, that he is the strongest top laner, is a little bit ballsy out of the Direwolves.
He's not just one of the strongest top laners. He's one of the strongest players in the OPL, and to pick something weak, so to speak, in lane blindly into him is an absolute disaster.
Yeah, it just strikes me as greedy, to be perfectly honest. Like, I actually liked what the Dials were trying to do with the draft. I like it in spirit. The philosophy of your draft is excellent. Pick a strong team fighting comp. I even like the Soraka because these long extended fights, you are going to win. Take the Chiefs, mid to late, and then use your strong team fighting that I know the Dials have and take over the game. Unfortunately, the way the game was set up, there was absolutely no way that was happening. And the Udyr and the Malphite picks in particular just strike me as too greedy and not proactive enough in the early game.
So it kind of looked like it kind of looked like Direwolves really wanted to just kill Radiant. We joked about it a lot. It looked like it's just kill the Radiant team comp, and that looked like what they wanted to do. But you pick Soraka into a team where you're trying to just kill one person over and over again. You don't really have that pressure.
And a matchup I was really looking forward to was actually Fantix versus Cheese. We got to see it for about 4 minutes at the start of the match. And what impressed me was Fantix on TF didn't actually miss a creep. I think he was on a perfect 40 creep score. But Cheese towards the end of the game started to take over. This was someone that Spooks gave a lot of respect to. This is going to be exciting to watch in game 2.
Oh, it's just awesome stuff from Cheese. Like, his Anivia, which I never knew he played until now, was just looking really strong here. And the fact that Cheese is clearly evolving as a player is just awesome to watch. Fnatic's TF, especially versus Spooks, is amazing, Gragas. Good luck, mate.
Yeah, no Swiffer, no Clue is a myth. Cheese is really good in this mid lane.
Yeah, certainly has showed up in game 1, and that means Chiefs will take it, but don't go anywhere, guys. The rematch, I have to wink, apparently, someone told me, is coming back around the corner. It is 1-0 currently for the Chiefs, but we'll see if Direwolves can hit back.